Hello friends, my name is Ashok Sijala. In this session, we learn the CompareValidator Control in ASP.NET with C#. So let us start. First, I share my laptop screen, and here Microsoft Visual Studio for Express for Web Edition is open, and validation demo website folder is already open. In File menu, we take new file. And here C# is language selected, web form file is there, and here just provide the name of file, and that's the compare_validator. That is the name of control, and just press add button. First fix our goal and title of the HTML head section, and that is compare validator control. Okay. And now division tag, we first take one panel. Panel is a container control in ASP.NET. ID run at server side and grouping tags. That is, we fix our table product detail. Okay. Now here first take the table of HTML. ID like T1 run at server side, and that's border, and that one. Table is a HTML control, but here I provide the run at server side, so it's also work at server side. By default, HTML control work on the client side. Okay, now let us take one here. Here means table row, and TD the table data. And first we take one table ID like LBL PID, product ID, run at server side, and tax is just ID. Okay, and close the table tag and take another TD, and that TD we first take the text box to submit our product ID, and that's ID of text box txt PID. Txt is a prefix, so we can easily identify that text box ID. And now give the run at server side and close that text box tag and take our first compare validator. That's the name compare. Its name itself suggests something is comparison. So in ASP there are three use of compare validator. First, you can check the data type. Second, use to compare two field value, and third, you can check the fixed value of any field. So here use the first data type you have to check, and that is product ID, and that must be integer. So here we provide the tags ID must be in integer. Okay, and we also take the error message. So here we prefix product word, so identify which message appear in which place. In generally, text message appear near to the field any control, and error message in validation summary use. So let us check that in runtime. Okay, product ID must be in integer. Okay, now control to valid. First, control to valid. So control to valid, we give our text box txt PID, that is the ID of text box, and now close the tag. Okay, there is no required to any other validation. So just I copy this row to next our field, and that's the name of product. So here we just remove this compare validator, that is not requiring the name, and label text here change, that's the name of product here, and text box ID we have to change, and that's the txt PNM product name. And let us apply the require field validator, and that is req and pnm, run at server side, and then take the text uh, name is required. Okay, and error message, and that's we provide product name is, you can say that, required. Okay, and control to valid, that is the txt pnm product name, just the close tag. Okay, so first we check here in compare validator and require field validator. Almost all I comparison and analysis. ID here give both run at server side, text here ID must be required and here name is required, error message, product ID must be in integer, and here product name is required, control to. So there is a 5 properties both control hold, but we have two extra two property of compare validator, and that's I analysis. That's the every control in ASP.NET some specific property you have to provide. So here operator is a main, and that's the here we provide data type check, first use of the compare validator. And now type is there. So there are 5 data types. In this session I cover the integer and date. So here first we apply the integer. So now compare validator is ready to check the data type of product ID must be in integer. If, if you supply the alphabet, then that's product ID must be in integer. That type of validation is or messages appear. Okay, so and also one extra property here require field, and that's the display. That's also hold the compare validator, but by default there are 3 possible value: dynamic, static, and none, but default is static. So here apply the name field, that's the dynamic. So by default in compare validator that is the static, so that's different, we can check at runtime. Okay, so our two ready is now ready and complete. So take the, I just copy and paste for second use of compare validator. I copy 2 times, and first we have to now check the 2 field values. So here I take price cost price. Okay, and that text box ID I can change txt cp. Okay, and there is not require here require field validator. I just copy the compare validator, and here in the text box there is not change ID, and then run at server ID. Okay, now text is now we have to change, and that's the here provide the message cost price must be in integer. Cost price must be integer. So I just copy this message because we have to apply the same, but after the sell price we apply the two field comparison, that type of second use of compare validator. Here I repeat the first use of compare validator, and that's here I just okay. So here we prefix, I can show you product cost must be in integer, and that's change ID cp cost price, and data type check integer, that's all is the same. Okay, now our fourth row, and that's we change the label text. Okay, and here we can say that sales price. Okay, okay, now here we have to also remove this require and just copy. Okay, just copy this compare validator. So here second use now we have to check the to field value and the text message here. First we change our TextBox ID and then we have to apply. So here we fix TextBox ID txt sp sell price. Okay, then here we prefix and that's the message we provide like here and move the sum forward so you can easily watch here. Sell price is greater than or equal to cost price, that type of message just that's removed. So sell price greater than equal to cost price, because cost price some profit add then that product is sell, so that is always sell price is greater than cost price. So that type of two field we have to compare. And also in error message just copy this message and prefix the product and remaining part I change. Okay, so here, okay, now just copy. So here product sale price greater than cost price, and control to validate, that's this ID and that's the name of this text box, like sell sell price txtsp, and data type, that's we have to change operator, we have to not check the data type but greater than or equal to, you can also use greater than only or less than, or relational, 6 relational operator is there. So here greater than or equal to, and data type is in integer. So our fourth row ready now, and just save and take. Now copy this and paste one time, and that's the fifth row, and here we provide quantity. Okay, so okay, now ready quantity, and that's text box ID can change txt and qty, so that is the short form. And compare validator, we have to check the third use. First we had use the data type check, and second use we have to compare two field, and that I can one property set is remaining, and that's text error message control to validate greater than, and type is integer here, and one important property I can set, and then we can fix our value, and that is the main properties. Now compare control to compare and value to compare in the third use. So here control to compare, and that is the above txt cp cost price. So that's meaning we can compare two field, that's txt cp is there and there txt sp is there. So both value is checking, and here we check the greater than or equal to operator. So sell price is always greater than cost price. If you below that, then this message is appear, and that message is product sell price is greater than or equal to cost price, sell prices. So here just provide the s. Okay, so there is no problem, but message we have to just provide and as a s, and you can also spelling SELL sell, and here cells. Okay, so that is now perfect. Control to compare, that is another important property of compare validator, and above first we have to operator and data type of ID in the product field. So let us look at, so here data type check and integer, there is two extra property of compare validator use, like not require field validator all this property. And now here we can set the control to compare, there is another property. And now here in quantity field we first change our message and then apply. So here text message we have to change, and that's the quantity, like we can say that greater than 20. Okay, so here I write the no small message, so we will write the greater than only, not equal to. So here just remove this message. The quantity is greater than 20 must be supplied, and just copy this message. Okay, and error message we have to apply, but product word is remaining same. So just product quantity greater than 20. So here and above use the greater than or equal to, and here we operator just change, and that's we have to provide greater than just. Okay, so here and data type integer, and now one value, that's the second important, and that's the value to compare, and that's the fixed 20. So many use you can fix, like banking software fixed deposit rate, or any employee form you can fix the basic salary, that type form provide the fixed value. So fixed value change. So here there are three use. First is data type check, second is sell price and cost prices check to field value comparison, and third is a fixed value, and that is quantity is greater than 20. Okay, or you can say that not less than 20. Okay, now we're designing in remaining one button and taking one row and ed, and that row only one button. So here all span we require two, and take one button asp colon button and submit our product detail to Lable Text. So here bt submit run at server side, and text is submit. Okay, and next font bold is true by default false. Some formatting apply font size, and here I move forward, so looking for better, and that's large, and four color, that's we provide dark, so many color is there. So here mm, dark flat like blue. Okay, and just close the button, and after the table tag we take one label, and that id lpl answer run at server side, and text is just out, close the tag, and after the next we have to take the one control, and that's the validation summary. So here first provide the id well run at server side. Okay, also message print on the error message print on the validation summary control. Okay, and in panel tag we have to not provide the background color, so also provide like a back color, and that's the we have to select from the more color option, and here we take some light color. So here, okay, light yellow is there. Okay, just save and look up our design. Yes, our designing is appear, and that button I can select, and here left margin is there, so it just provide the here center of that row. Okay, so I think now any change is required. Here our label is there, here validation summary, and here our designing id name cost price sell price and quantity, and just double click on submit button, and here I provide like lpl answer.text, and that's we provide first id and txt like PID dot. Okay. So here we just put the second field txt, and that's the first br tag. So taking the next line, and that the name field of product name, and that plus sign is a continuation. So here plus sign we have to concat our field, and that is txt pnm product name, that's text, and plus we have to take one br tag, and that's now cost price, and that's we have to txt cp cost price for tax. Okay, and plus we have to just br tag, and now sales price, and that's plus sign txt uh, sp for tax, and last field br tag was provide, and that is quantity. Okay, and next txt qpy, and the tax. Okay, semicolon. Okay, one we provide if condition. If all field is valid, means apply proper value, and then our field is print, otherwise not print. So page class for the is valid property, and if all field is valid, then and then page class is valid return true, otherwise it is return false. So here give the message else part response dot write, and just we have to provide invalid. Okay, so I just control S, and now I can check run this page. Okay, so here compare validator, and here provide the ID like alphabet, not provide the name. Okay, and here provide the 10 cross price, but here I provide the below 8, so error is appear, and quantity we have to also check like provide the 20. So just submit. Here all messages appear. So product ID must be an integer. We provide the alphabet. Product name is required. We have to not supply any name, and here not, because we supply the value, but comparison here data type integer, so that message is not appear, but we have to provide the low price. So here product sale price is greater than or equal to cost price. So here, and quantity is a must be, we have to supply the greater than 20. So here, okay, now I provide the product code 101 and supply the name pen as a product, and here 10 is same. Here provide the 15 message is gone, and here we provide some submit. Okay, so one quantity there is we have to not change control to validate property, so that's appear. So I can just change, and here our last field remaining one property, and that id txt, and not here. Yes, right here control to validate, that's I just copy, and that time be alert here qpy, so that's not apply. Okay, now save, and also we take the another use, that's okay now. And I just data type to like date we have to compare, so I just copy about to this row, and that's last. I just copy these two compare validator, and below the quantity field I just copy, and below we have to change all the tags and uh, id. So here I take first like we can say that order date. So order dates I provide, and that text box ID I can change txt, and that od, order date short form. Okay, and now be alert, we have to change all the property, and compare validator ID is not required change Ronet. Here we just order date must be in date format, or you can say that just date. Okay, so remove this, and same message, order date must be in date format. So, or you can say that just date, and here change the message. Here go ahead and change this message, just copy, and product order date must be date format, and here we be alert the copy of that time order date od, and here we change the further our first field data type check, and that's the data type check, and there is not require control to compare, but here is required type to change, and that date. Okay, so our date we apply the another important data type, like we first use integer, and now we can use apply the date. Okay, and also here this text box we have to just dispatch it. So just okay, and here we provide just remove these tags, and order dispatch date is after the, so we have to second time use first revise the data type check, and here to date we compare. So here uh, dispatch date must be greater than order date. So that is the must be. You can order date after that dispatch date. So order date is a first, and then dispatch date. So dispatch date must be greater than, and just copy, and now paste here. Okay, product dispatch date must be greater order date. Okay, so control to validate, we have to provide the dd dispatch date. So here we change the text box ID first, txt dd dispatch date dd. Okay, so there is, and now this value fix we have to change, not require, data type is a change, that's the date, and greater than operator is ready, and now control to compare, and that's the txt od order. So order date compared to the dispatch date, and that condition is greater than. So here we can change the type, data type. In previous cost price and sell price I use the integer data type, but now the date field. So I just save, and I just summarize. First we have to check the design. So there is any problem, yes, this button please look after this. So I just put this row in between, so that the button is just cut and provide the last row, so for looking is better. Okay, now check the, okay, now ready. So there are 7 fields now: id, name, cost price, sell, quantity, order date, and dispatch date. So here integer data type check, and date data type check, and id integer we have to check, then to integer value check to date check, and quantity is at 20, that is fixed value check. So there are three use of compare validator and how it's applied. I can just sum up. First, compare validator in product ID, and that's ID we have to provide compare run at server side. Text ID must be in integer, and error message product ID must be integer with distinct some prefix as a product. So control to validate this text box txt PID. So that text box ID we have to apply. And next, operator data type and type is integer. So that is first use. Second use, we have to use two field comparison, and directly I move this row because cost price and sell price, here is sell price, so this compare validator, because that is the only revision. Okay, so here ID run at sell price is greater than equal to cost price, because some properties include error message product sell greater than equal to, and control to validate txt sp, and that's meaning this text box ID. But control to compare, that's the last control to compare, and type is integer and greater than equal to, we have to provide operator, and that text box is above this text box. So that is second use, two field comparison. And after the last third use, and that is fix the value check compare validator, and that txt qty, and here id quantity is greater than 20, fix value product quantity error message greater than 20, and that control to validate txt this text box, and operator greater than only, and type integer, and value to compare, that is important here, control to compare, and here value to compare 20. And now another two is same two field, but type is integer of, to replace the date data type. So there is only one change, and here we provide the just date and control to compare. So I think now complete this, just I run one time. Okay, and I intensely type the alphabet, and here not supply the value, and here I give the 12, but here I give the 10, so that's error is appear. Here I below the 20 quantity, then order date I can here also check the today's 21 dot slash 7 slash 2020, and I can give the 18, so dispatch date is less than order date, that is not possible. So here dispatch date must be greater than order date, and here id must be integer, name is required, that is required field validator. Here no any because that is integer data type. If you type the alphabet, then that message also appear. Okay, cost price must be in integer. Okay, quantity is greater than 20, so here 12, and here that's not possible. Before after the order date is uh, always by dispatch date, so dispatch date is higher than order date. And also here one important, I just right click this web page. Okay, okay, here, and here view source code, we provide the required field validator is a dynamic. So let us check that runtime. I can say previously we check at runtime. So here look at our, here start our legend product, that is the title product detail, and there is our td, and that type text box first, and there here compare validator, and product must be an integer. So that type, that visibility of message is a not provided, then by default is a static. So here visibility is hidden. So here like that start here, and style is visibility hidden, but we provide the required field validators as a dynamic. Here you can see here dynamic. so display dynamic, and that style that is displays none, not hidden. So here one major difference, that is style is visibility hidden, but that style is displays none. So that is the display property holding three possibility: none, static, and dynamic. We provide here not compare validator, that's the use the visibility hidden. So that is the static. But here is a display is a dynamic. So that displays none. So that is the difference. So now I can give proper value all the field and just show our all product 101 pen you have to supply, or you can supply any. And here cost price we apply the like 12 and like 25, uh, 10 rupees per profit, and here 21, so there is no error. And here date is today, and here I can just provide the dispatch. So I can first here order is previously date like 18, we remove this, and here I provide today's date 21, so there is no change. Well, okay, so now our all ID, name, product, price, sell, and quantity, but we not print the two dates in our output. So you can also print these two date in our output. So there is only here give just concatenation and provide one PR tag and just order date and that TextBox txt, like that ID OD and tax, that is TextBox and last field, and provide the PR, and that is the dispatch date. So there is last field and txt dd dispatch date and just provide the tax. Okay, now ready all the field. So that is only checking, and I will run for last time to print our all value. I can provide the proper, so there is no any error. I can show you all the like we provide the book, and here 12 cost price, 20, 35 sell price, quantity is like 100, so there is no error. Give the order date before the dispatch date, and now today 21 I give the as a dispatch date. Okay, so now all the field is very well print: ID, name, product, cost price, sell price, quantity, order date, and dispatch date. Okay, so that is the end of my session. Here we can use the three use of compare validator. You can check the data type, you can compare two field value, and that you can also integer date, data type, or currency, so, and there is string also is there. And third use of compare validator, then the fixed value you have to change. So subscribe my channel Ashok C Jhala Academy and press the bell icon to never miss any update. Thanks for watching and thanks for your support. Subscribe my channel. My previous student is some demanding is there. I complete my session of video series of ASP.NET. Then I go in another programming like demanding is iOS, Java, C Sharp, C, C++, Python, Ruby. So step by step I can cover all the language, but first my goal I complete my ASP.NET video series, and then after I can think. So thanks for watching and thanks your support. Hare Krishna.